Welcome
to your morning cup
with iBenz Academy.
I'm Kara.
And I'm Ashley.
And today, we are at the ShamanShack recording this episode.
Ooh, we're on location.
So you might hear lots of life in the background.
Yes, food cooking, people talking.
Puppy dogs.
Yes, we have a special guest today.
We do.
PB. Hi, PB. Hello. Yes. PB is joining us.
Yes.
Yay.
Princess Beauty. And since we are here physically at the ShamanShack, we wanted to talk about the ShamanShack and tap into these amazing energies and this co-creation that's happened over the years and share our experience of how we've come to be here and co-create it together, and also just it's so freaking cool.
Yes. We were talking with Inelia about the energies of which the ShamanShack was created in. And the ShamanShack is a space where Gaia and humanity meets.
So amazing.
I know.
Which is why there's like a structure here and people live here and there's animals and the stream and the trees. And
there's always so much movement and activity and just energy.
Always changing. It's never the same twice.
Yes.
And if you have visited here, guaranteed it's changed the next time you visit. Even if you live here, it's changed the next day.
Yes, exactly.
And it's just such an amazing space. So we wanted to share a little bit about how it came to be from maybe a different perspective you haven't heard before.
Sure. And
the changes over the years and just everything that it's supported and co-created.
So when did you first hear about the ShamanShack?
Wow. Well, looking back in linear time, it must have been 2014, 2015. I remember because I was still a poor college student, literally. And there was this call to action on Walk With Me Now, and I think it was twofold. One, it started out as a daydream, like a daydream of what is the ShamanShack? What could it be? And then the second call to action was donations to help bring it into physical reality. And I remember, it was so funny to think back now, because I remember, I was like, okay, I'm going to commit, and I'm gonna send chi, I'm gonna send money to this, because I think it's so cool and inspiring. I have to do it. But I was struggling, right? So I sent $50, and it was a big $50 for me. And I remember specifically thinking, this $50, it's gonna come back like tenfold. It's so amazing what this project is, and that inspiration's there. I'm gonna do it,
What a beautiful energy to give into, just to support it in that way. And has it given back?
Like a trillionfold.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's amazing. But the fact that it just started as a daydream, and here we are physically in this space, it just shows how true that teaching is, that everything starts with a daydream.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember receiving a newsletter about the ShamanShack, and I wasn't on Walk With Me Now yet, but I remember feeling into the energy of it, and I was just like, I'm going there. It was just this energy knowing of, I'm going to go there. And I'm not just going to go and visit. I'm going to stay there.
Are you remembering the future?
I might have been. I don't know. But it felt like a lot of conviction behind it on my part. I don't know what's going on there exactly, but whatever it is, I'm in. Yep. I like it.
You knew.
I knew.
And you did it. Good job.
Yeah.
So you read the newsletter and said, I'm going there. I'm staying there. Then what? What happened in those 2 to 3 years? Well, I guess it had to be built, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I think it got built in a couple months.
Yeah.
There's a whole story about how Inelia and Larry manifested the land and bought it and everything, and you can hear about that elsewhere. Hopi arrived to share his superpowers to the space.
Yep.
I think that.
And it was all when, at the same time, I believe, then, I can't recall if it was the Human Collective or Gaia, or maybe both, were like, Inelia, we need a retreat.
Yes.
It's like, guess what, Larry? Guess what?
Guess what?
Hopi, we're having a retreat at the end of the month. And at that point, I had become a member with Walk With Me Now. So I was already a member with Walk With Me Now earlier that year. And then it was like, oh, I'm going. Yes.
Wow. I didn't realize that. That was
This was like 2017, maybe?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Wow. It's so funny. I just figured you were a member for like years and years. But I mean,
it's 2022. So I think that is several years.
That is true. True. But it's so funny because like back in 2017, I don't know. It just felt like we were there forever already, even though that wasn't true at all. You like just joined and then a couple months later going to a retreat and time, it's just super cool. Time flies. But yeah, 2017, there were 2 retreats that year that were happening at the ShamanShack. One was in August. That was the first one. And then one was in September. We went to the September one.
Mm-hmm. That's where we met.
Yep.
Cash was born.
Yes.
Or, like, remembered.
Yes. More accurately.
Yes.
I think we told that story in an earlier podcast. Did. Yeah. So that was cool. And I specifically remember thinking to myself, I'm going to go to the second retreat, not the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like that niggle, that knowing, you know?
Yep.
Very glad I did.
Same.
Well, you weren't there.
Yeah.
And there were some people who were at both. But yeah, it was just perfectly orchestrated.
Mm-hmm.
And having an event at the ShamanShack, like, it was just such a beautiful space. Like,
oh, yeah.
The event room and just the decorations and crystals.
You wouldn't have guessed how much work and energy went into creating this space. I mean, at least it was so amazing and beautiful and just like the perfect retreat, like in every way, you know. And I know for Larry and Inelia, they always have such a lovely way of taking care of the physical bodies, you know,
yes.
with food and comfort and there's that, you know, there's fresh air, there is lots of amazing food. Mm-hmm. There was, I mean, obviously lots of like wonderful people. Everything was like really comfortable to sleep on or to sit on, or like by feeling was like soft and cozy. Their water was great. Like everything about the retreat, it did, like my body was like, oh,
amazing.
I've arrived, yay.
So good.
Yes.
Especially after like living in a very busy, noisy, polluted city. Mm-hmm. So like coming here was such a physically drastic change.
Yes.
The sound, the pollution, the psychic noise, just gone.
Yep.
Immediately, just like a
yeah.
And it's just beautiful.
It is.
Around here. It's just so gorgeous.
Yeah.
But yeah, you wouldn't even know, like when we stepped inside the door and there's this beautiful retreat event center. It's like literally a month ago. There were no walls.
Yeah.
Or there were, you know, some walls.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even known. Like it was incredible.
I know, it was really funny, and this kind of overlaps with our earlier conversation about coming here in another podcast episode. But when after the retreat, and I was like, I'm gonna move up to Olympic Peninsula, one of the things I really wanted was, again, having that knowing, having that intention, or remembering the future, who knows what it was, right? Was to be able to stay at the ShamanShack for a couple of months, or 3 months, I think it was, is what I was intending. That was my manifestation, right? But I didn't really, I didn't know how that was going to happen. And I ended up coming up here to stay while I was looking for, or getting situated to move into my house. And the funny thing is, there ended up being delays in the paperwork, and then getting the owner needed to stay in the house. The former owner needed to stay in the house and rent it back for me for a little bit of time. And so ultimately, I still ended up living at the ShamanShack for 3 months. Yeah. When I found out about the last delay in the process, and it was like, oh, we need 1 more month. I was like, oh my gosh, this is my manifestation. It happened.
Totally.
Very cool. Because I would have never planned that, you know, and that's like, I mean, that's a side note. One of the brilliant things about manifestation is like you don't always plan it, and it just kind of comes together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you want to learn more about that,
yes,
check out the Instant Manifestation Workshop happening in March.
How do you check it out?
Go to iBenzAcademy.com.
There you go.
Or go to our Telegram channel.
Perfect.
And this is such a great example of the orchestration of manifestation. And it's very funny, too, that you were very specific and said 3 months.
I know.
And then it ended up being 3 months.
yeah.
And,
yeah.
you know.
Fortunately, it was a really good manifestation.
Yes.
I think there's probably been other ones where I was like, oh, why did I say that?
What was I thinking?
yeah.
Yes.
I should have done the work around it beforehand.
Yes.
I didn't know so well then.
Yes, exactly. And this is why we do the work around it, so we actually manifest the things we want.
Exactly.
In a high frequency way.
Yes.
And you'll learn how to do that in the workshop.
Yes,
so.
exactly. So since then, though, really, I guess that, you know, once you moved out here too, and we're now live maybe about 20 minutes away from the ShamanShack, and we're able to come over and we did mentoring before, and then now mystical training here.
Yep.
We have our Sunday gatherings with the tribe, with the local Olympic Peninsula tribe.
It's just amazing. The space is like, it's sacred.
It
you know?
is.
It's such a integral part of like my story and how I've woken up and raised my frequency, and it's obviously a co-creation, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't happen in isolation. But yeah, when I first came out here for my mentoring, I stayed here a week, just me and Inelia. I think it was very quiet.
Oh my gosh, I remember. yeah.
It was very quiet in those days.
Yep.
Quiet in the sense like Larry was out fishing for weeks on end probably, and less chickens and dogs, you know, it was just quieter. But because of that, it was kind of like being in the pressure cooker a little bit. You know, it was so funny. Yeah, at some point I was just like getting overcooked, and I was like, just please leave. She went to the Ilaria on the res. It was so funny.
Yeah.
Side note. But I just remember thinking, oh my God, it's just so quiet and amazing, just being in a beautiful sacred space, in the middle of nature, and just being, you know, feeling into those energies and basking in the frequencies, because the connection here, it's real, it's physical, it's tangible, and where Gaia and Humanity meet, like, it's so accurate.
Yeah.
So accurate.
And I found, like, once people come out here, they keep coming back, it seems like.
Or never leave.
Or never leave. That's true. We never left.
Not really.
Not really. We left to get our stuff, and then we came back.
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah. Yeah. But that's it. You know, that's also another really interesting part about the ShamanShack. And I think the frequency of the area and the land, it's sometimes creates a little bit of moats and alligators.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, when people are trying to come out.
So what does that mean, moats and alligators?
Well, I would say if there's any blocks or resistances or things like that, we have this really funny potentially unconscious ways of creating these blocks and manifesting them. So, you know, the flight gets delayed 24 hours, and then like you miss your
first day of the retreat,
ride, or you I don't know, something
just
happens.
Things come up.
There's like border shutdowns and all the things.
Yep.
All the things come up. We've heard it all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, it's like the unconscious programs getting triggered, right? And manifesting themselves.
Yes.
To prevent us from doing something. And fortunately, at least in a lot of cases that I've seen for folks who are coming out to the ShamanShack and their moats and alligators that come up, usually others will point it out very clearly. Be like, I think one time there was literally a crocodile, like...
What?
Like, wasn't that... There's a story here. Oh, I can't remember the story.
Oh, we're going to have to ask and find out.
Oh, I know. I just remember there was, like, a retreat, and something crazy happened, and maybe a literal crocodile was found somewhere in, like, a stream of Seattle. I could be misremembering, though, but either way, I like the story.
It sounds like a really interesting story. Yeah. But, I mean, that's also, you know, a really good point to Actually, we had a conversation earlier today around the unconscious ways that we create and manifest in our lives. And even it's like, so who are your co-creators? A big one, your entourage, right? Who's in your entourage? Have you cleaned it out lately?
Yes.
If you haven't, side note, go to ineliabenz.com.
We'll put the link in the show notes.
Yes. And get the, what is it? Angels and Guides
class.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Amazing class. It talks about basically how everyone has an entourage. It's a specific word that Inelia likes to use to describe like spirit guides and ancestors and, guardian angels, all these things that cultures have symbolized somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And it talks about, that. But also there's a very specific exercise. Well, there's two, but one is to clear it of low frequency baggage, entities, creatures.
Raise the frequency of your entourage. Not just yourself, your entourage too.
Yes. Because we're not alone and we're not isolated, even mystically or energetically, right?
Yep.
So it's good to clear your stuff, and that's one way to do it. And it's such an effective practice. So check it out.
Yep.
But yeah, a lot of times those moats and alligators can come up through entourage members.
That's true.
Sabotaging or keeping the low frequency game going and doing whatever they can to make it happen.
Yep.
Like,
so it's just good to be empowered, right? Know who you're creating with, and if you want something that's high frequency, that you're really clear to be able to do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's fun too to like look at how our gatherings have been on Sundays. And the number of people, like when I moved up here, it was basically Larry, Inelia, Hopi, and me. And we would meet and gather regularly, and then of course when you moved up, and then it's just slowly we've just been growing more and more, and it's really funny because lately I've been like looking around on Sundays like, oh my gosh,
we're
full.
Like,
we're really full. We're gonna be growing out of the ShamanShack suit. We're gonna have to like expand.
I know.
Yeah,
we really are.
It's kind of exciting though.
It's such a great problem to have.
It is. So and we always have Fossil Beach now too.
That's true.
But yeah, I mean, it's just it's amazing just to have this space that is like a hub for our community. I mean, gosh, it's a hub for iBenz Academy, right? We've recorded all of our lectures and workshops here, and for Inelia doing her work. It's really just such an amazing space that supports so many aspects of our lives.
Yeah, and we hosted the Guild of Gaia Summit back in 2020.
Yep.
That was a non-Inelia Benz event. It was a co-creation of brides and grooms of Gaia getting together and saying, hey, we want to do stuff. Let's do stuff. So we worked on the contract. We thought of ways that we could multiply and prosper, gain allies. We created an amazing labyrinth at the ShamanShack. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. Will you describe it for our audience?
So there's an area in the back of the property that kind of has this tree canopy and these evergreens that are out there, and we built the labyrinth entering into that space. So you're under the canopy of trees, and then it kind of weaves around the trees, or through the trees is better to say. So it weaves through the trees and then moves in this spiral around the center tree. And it's incredible. And along it, just on the edge, there's the riverbank, and so the river is right there running through, or right next to it.
Yeah, and honestly, again, it started with a daydream.
Yep.
During the summit, we wanted some inspiration from our grooms of Gaia.
Yep.
And we're like, okay, let's do some man stuff today. All right, guys, what are we gonna do? Structure, build,
build something. Let's
move
do
dirt
something.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was brilliant because literally, how many were there? 18 of us, 20 of us? I don't know. Some of us were online too, but we're like, okay, so let's do this.
Yeah.
And within an hour or two, we had cleared out the space under the tree. We had structured the path. We had put gravel on the path. We had gotten rocks from the creek to
started hanging chimes in the tree.
Yes. Literally, like that saying, many hands, little work.
Yep.
So accurate.
So accurate. And I remember I had been drawing spirals and researching about labyrinth for like a year before that, and wanting to create this labyrinth for Gaia, and it was like this impossible task for me, because I was like, how am I going to carry all these rocks? And, oh my gosh. You know? And I was like drawing labyrinths in the sand, you know, and on the beach, and just it was expressing in a lot of ways, but it was not coming together as any type of permanent structure. And it was Inelia who was like, you know, it doesn't have to be all you to create it. And it's like, okay. So I kind of understood them. Like, so maybe a friend or two will come help. Okay. And then during the Brides and Grooms, the Gaia Summit, when Larry's like, okay, we're going to build a labyrinth. Where do you want it? He's like, got a barrel full of gravel. Like, where do you want it? And I'm like, whoa, okay, this is happening here. Okay. You know,
okay, you there.
Here, we're going to do this.
Yep.
And then, yeah, and it was such a cool orchestration, stepping out of, I made myself like, I got to do this all by myself. And then we doing it. And, you know, Larry's energy just come in, boom, let's go. And like, all right, we're in. And everybody supporting is amazing.
It was so amazing. It was just such a fabulous exercise of working as a cohesive group in shared high frequency intent. It was so satisfying, and everyone had a job, you know, and it all came together, and it's just so beautiful. Like, within an hour, we had nothing, an idea, and then a beautiful sacred space that is now here to stay at the ShamanShack. And it's decorated with all these little seashells and, you know, like, what do you call it? Like sea glass from the beach and all these little spirals. And it was just amazing. Yep. So, it's like that. Like, the ShamanShack has helped make those experiences come to life and vice versa.
Well, and similar to that, too, though, like, there's really a lot of energy that goes into taking care of the ShamanShack, stewarding the ShamanShack. Like, from everybody. I mean, I would say the amount of energy I put in is nothing compared to like Larry and Nelia, Fred and Dan and Hopi and all the folks who are here regularly, tending to the gardens and taking care of the animals and looking after the land and taking care of the house and the property. And it does take a lot of energy and support, but because there's so many people doing it, again, it has that like seamless feeling, right? And it just comes together so well, right? It's not one person or just Larry and Inelia having to take care of everything, but it really is a tribe. It's a tribe supporting.
Yeah, that's such a good point, because there's this energy of shared responsibility and that able to respond, right? And it's a privilege. It's this amazing privilege to be here and to take care of the space and to contribute superpowers and strengths and ideas and chi and time and money and whatever to help make it happen. And we all have different strengths, you know, and it all comes together. And it's like hard to express sometimes, that it might just seem like, I don't know, another house on the side of the street, but for those of us in it and co-creating it, it's so much more than that, you know. And the stewarding is such an important component of it. It's such an important part of the life of the ShamanShack. Yeah,
so if you're thinking of creating a space, like a community space like the ShamanShack, do it with others.
Yes.
High frequency others.
Don't do it alone.
Don't do it alone, but make sure also they're high frequency, they're empowered, awake. It'll make your life a lot easier. But really, like, that's where it comes in. It's just such an amazing way of learning. And it's really easy, I think, as a member of the community or as being a part of something. Let's say, for example, Walk With Me Now, to that seamlessness, like you're in it and you're like, wow, this is so simple, this is so nice and well put together, you know. And you don't realize how much energy and time and just like care goes into creating these things that we have. I remember similar with the Second Life city experience that we created with Walk With Me Now. And when the members helped create the city, really it was Inelia. She was the charging force behind it all to help really put it together and guide it. And now we have a team of managers who are members of the city doing the work, and there's I think like maybe 7 of us, and oh my gosh, it's a lot of work, and there's 7 of us, and I'm like, holy smokes, she's doing all that pretty much by herself for the most part. So it's really easy, like in that situation, to not see what goes into it, and to think that it's just there. It was just, this is great. It's always been there. But it does. There is that energy and that chi and that that dedication and time and care that goes to stewarding this type of space.
Absolutely. The countless hours that Ilia and Inelia have put into Walk With Me Now and IneliaBenz.com, and countless hours that Hopi and Larry and the tribe have put into the ShamanShack, and it looks invisible, right? Yes. And seamless, and like, oh, it's easy. It's always been there, and it doesn't have to be hard, but there was chi involved, and a lot of time and chi went into it, and it looks seamless, and but again, it all started with a daydream, and at some point we had to do something and keep doing it, and that's how all these stories began. Like,
I remember when the second workshop that you and I attended. So it's the second workshop of the ShamanShack, retreat at the ShamanShack. And I remember when we started the retreat, and Inelia said that what we were doing was standing on the shoulders of giants, right? And I can't remember who originally said that. Was it like Einstein?
That's what they say. I don't know if it's true, but yeah.
Anyway, but like she was saying it in the sense that like there's so much work that had been done and through the folks who were at the first retreat, right? And so what we were coming into was the energy that they had already like kind of laid the foundation for, and we were standing on the shoulders of giants, and I feel like that in the sense of, in this energy of recognizing that stewardship and that care and that creation energy that goes into Walk With Me Now and into IneliaBenz.com and into iBenz Academy and the ShamanShack and the Global Ascension Center, and all of that it's all, we're benefiting from it and learning and growing from it, standing on the shoulders of giants who helped create it and pave that way, and everybody along the way who's contributed has helped as well. Absolutely. So I think this is, for me, it's like it's really a moment of just feeling that deep gratitude for that, like deep gratitude for these creations that have come through, and the teachings and iBenz method, and it's incredible.
Think of like all the lives it's impacted, and inspired, and all the amazing people who have raised their frequency, and have gone off to co-create other things as a result, and it's just amazing. And for me, that true knowing and connection of seeing the human collective in action and Gaia in action, and that collaboration, because like you said, standing on the shoulders of giants, it's like even getting internet here has been a journey, a story unfolding, and most recently, the connection, the internet connection, literally just got a lot better because of a new satellite system that now works out here. I remember first hearing about it like 4 or 5 years ago and going, oh my god, it's gonna be like perfect out here, it's like, but that took so many people to make happen, or whether it's the electricity or the infrastructure we need to like have the roads out here, like so much of it is truly just the human collective.
It's the human collective. It all comes back to that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it really, there's nothing that you can look at or be a part of or engage with that didn't come from the human collective in some way or another, right? And that's same with our manifestations. They come through the human collective.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's such an important teaching in the instant manifestation workshop, and there's so many important aspects to working with that and doing it in a high frequency conscious way. So, and Gaia too.
Yep.
Yeah.
So where do you go most often during the week when you're not at home, other than at my house?
I was gonna say the beach, your house, but no, really, it's the ShamanShack.
The ShamanShack. I only drive my car when I'm going to the ShamanShack. Working remote, having a beach next door, and your sister next door. You don't need to leave that often. You kind of just walk around locally.
I know. It's hard to leave when literally every day is paradise.
Yeah, it's true.
And that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
And I would not be here without the ShamanShack and the iBenz method,
Absolutely.
And it's just...
Without Inelia.
Exactly. So much gratitude.
Oh, yeah. That lady, man. She's amazing.
Yes. And thank you, Larry,
yes.
for keeping her around. And the Human Collective.
Yeah.
For keeping her around.
And Ilia. Keeping her online.
Yep.
Daniela.
Yep. All the things. You know?
Absolutely.
It's just incredible. So there's just so much gratitude and love for this space. And here's the thing.
What's the thing?
It can be done.
Yeah.
By anyone.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because it started out as a daydream. It was a freaking newsletter.
Yep.
It was an idea on a website. And look at all of the impact and influence and inspiration and high frequency energies it's co-created.
Absolutely.
Incredible. So
it is.
If you want to create a satellite ShamanShack wherever you are in the world, I mean, high frequency would be good, but it just shows it can be done. You can do it.
Yep.
It starts with a daydream. What's the feeling? And I just have to say, the feeling that we've co-created here, it's pretty freaking amazing.
It is. Absolutely. Yep.
That's why we keep coming back.
Yes.
Almost every day.
All the time. So if that is a desire, or maybe you just want to create something else in your life that feels like a big undertaking or a big shift or just something new, or maybe you don't even know quite yet what that is that you want to create, but you just want to create something new in your life. That's where I think the Instant Manifestation Workshop comes in, because we can help you get there. We can help you to learn the tools Inelia's provided, and go on the journey with your peers, learning about it, building with a tribe, creating together, and fine-tuning your manifestation skills for a high frequency creation, and contributing to the new paradigm on the planet.
Exactly.
We have an early bird special that's available until February 2nd, so check it out. You don't want to miss it. But again, iBenzAcademy.com has all the details.
We'll see you there.
Bye.